Hey everybody, a few minutes late starting, but that's because I was over here getting all worked up about this particular video and prepping for this particular video. So I am going to just kind of hang out just a few to see, oh, there's already a couple people on here, but just to see how many people come on, because for those of you that have been hanging out with me this week and seeing all of my posts, we are doing the APPtitude safety challenge, the PediMom APPtitude safety challenge. And the reason I'm doing this, for people who are just kind of catching on, we're going to be doing it for several weeks on out. But for those of you who are just catching on, I'm doing this because I feel it's really, really important for parents and everybody for that matter to be signing on to all of the apps that our kids are using so that we can adequately understand the risks, the benefits, and be able to talk to our kids about them. So that's what this particular challenge is all about. This is the first week, and this week we are doing the app Likee. I explained in my last video from yesterday why I chose this particular app first. We're going to be doing a lot of the more known apps that your kids are probably using, like Instagram, Snapchat, all of those. But this one is pretty unique, and this chat we're going to have tonight is really going to explain why this one is unique. And in addition to just talking about this app, I'm going to give you lots of information about predators, how they work, not only on this app, but apps in general. So that's why this one kind of got me a little riled up prior to doing this. All of these apps, when I get to this portion of it, I always get riled up. So for those of you that are just starting, a little introduction. I am Dr. Free Hess. I am a board certified pediatrician who has been working in pediatric emergency medicine for the past 10 plus years. I am a child safety expert and most importantly a mom, which is a good portion of why I do what I do. So what we're going to do today, and I'm hoping that more people jump on the live because it's going to make it a little bit better, although if you see this later, it's totally fine. You're going to get tons out of it. But for the live people, we're going to actually, hey, Tiffany, how are you? Thanks for joining us. We are going to go through some of the apps itself, and I'm going to show you some examples. Now, before I get started, on a serious note, I had posted on several of my preparation posts letting you guys know that we were going to go to specific pages of the predators on this particular app. And I've kind of been a lot of back and forth with that today because I'm so angry about what's happening on this app with predators and how out in the open it is, and how I've been reporting all of these people and these messages and these comments and nothing happens, that I feel like instead of getting you guys to see the actual pages, I mean, we'll go through some of it quickly, but instead of actually having you guys go to specific profiles so that you can see how horrible these predators really are, I am going to not do that on this particular live because I'm going to try to contact some of the people that I know, some of my contacts that are a little bit higher or a lot higher than me, a lot bigger than me, that can help me really work with this particular app to try to take care of this huge problem. Now, let me be completely clear before I start this. This issue is not just the app's issue. There are a lot of sexual predators and a lot of child pornography and a lot of sextortion of children on a good portion of the apps that your kids are using. And I do think it is the app's responsibility to monitor it safely, to make sure that the age limits that they put on it are being followed, and to make sure that accounts that are being reported are adequately investigated and removed, or even those particular people and those profiles accounts sent to the proper authorities to take care of anything more significant that's happening. So I get that, but the responsibility does not lie solely with the apps or the websites or whatever it is that we're going to be talking about from here on out. A huge part of the responsibility is on us, the parents. I'm a mom, so I get it. And the reason why I'm doing this is to educate you so that you can have a little bit more knowledge about what your kids are doing, what apps are appropriate, which ones are absolute no's, which ones are kind of like, well, I'll let them use it, but I'm going to have to monitor it in a certain way. And now that I know what to watch for, we can kind of do this together. I know how to talk to them. Um, but I don't want this to end up getting out there because there are a lot of people following, which is great. I'm happy that a lot of people are following and a lot of people are taking part in this. And I hope it gets even bigger because we need everybody on it. But I don't want people to think that I am throwing all of the responsibility on the apps themselves, because I'm not. A huge part of the responsibility is on us as parents. It's on you as a parent. You have to know what your kids are doing. You have to make sure that you're not giving a smartphone or unmonitored internet access to a child that is not able to deal with some of the things that we're talking about. You have to make sure you're monitoring appropriately, not only with yourself, like by yourself doing it, but with the proper monitoring apps and all of that. So we need to take responsibility as well. So I just wanted to make that clear before I get into all the nitty gritty of this horrific talk that I'm going to give you right now. So I'm going to be talking to some people. I've already reported some of these accounts of these predators on this particular app to the Center for Missing and Exploited Children's cyber tip line. And I'm going to be contacting some of the people that I know that do some work in this, and we're going to chat that part out. So I'm not going to send you to specific accounts, some of the worst that I've seen, but I am going to show you some stuff. So I am hoping that most of you who are taking part in this challenge have downloaded this app, because that is the most important part of this challenge. I could sit here, or anybody else who does this could sit here and lecture you to death about this stuff. But you don't understand, and you will never really truly understand what the risks your child are facing unless you actually do what they're doing and see what they're seeing. And that's why for all of these apps, including like this week, I want you to download it. Get a fake email, download it, do it, because we're going to do this together. Okay, so for those of you who did do it last night, I'm hoping that you did the tasks. Those particular tasks were to download it with a fake email, to look through the reviews. The reviews are very, very telling on this particular app, and they are in a lot of apps. So the reason why I want you to do that, and I'm going to remind you on every app that we do, you need to look at the reviews. Because yes, a lot of the reviews are kind of crappy reviews. I get that. They're people, they're bots, they're bot reviews, whatever. But there are some in there that are hugely helpful. And if you go on the reviews for this particular app, the Likee app, you will be blown away how many reviews are saying this is a horrible app. There are predators everywhere. There are young girls as young as 4 or 5 years old doing inappropriate things on this app. And the men and the predators and the pedophiles are swarming. You will see that in the review section. So this is why it's super important, not only for this app, for any app. Read those reviews because they're going to give you a lot of information. So that was one of the tasks. And then to just go through and explore the app, because I explained last night that there are several sections of this app, which is making it so popular. It's one of the most quickly rising apps right now, and it's kind of sort of competing with TikTok and Likee and all of those. So I wanted you to explore the video portion, which is more like TikTok, and the live streaming portion, which is more like Likee. Live streaming is absolutely horrible. And I'll explain a little bit more of that when we get into the strictly live streaming apps like Likee. So if you did that, great. We're going to talk about some of that. If you did not, please do it and then come back and watch these videos so that you get a little bit more of an idea. Hi, you guys. Hey, hi, Andy. Super awesome to have you here. Okay, so we're talking specifically about predators on this app, and we're going to talk about, and I'm looking down because I'm using my phone. I actually tried to see if I could get the app on my computer. We are disconnected. Hold on one second. Let me just see if my computer says something different. If you guys can see me, I'm so sorry. Reconnect, please reconnect. I'm going to have a sip of coffee because I'm going to need it for this. Oh my goodness. Going. Oh my gosh. It still says reconnecting. Oh, oh my goodness. Oh, I think you can see me. I'm trying to look at my phone to see if you can actually see me. Oh my goodness. This is so ridiculous. Okay. Okay, so excuse the ridiculousness right now because my phone is saying it's working, but yet my computer is saying it isn't. So I'm just going to continue and hope that it goes okay. All right. Okay. So where were we now that I've gotten all messed up? I'm so sorry for the disruption. We're having horrible, horrible storms here in Florida. It's a complete mess. We're going to float away maybe soon. So that's why the issues have been with my Wi-Fi. Anyway, okay. So let's go back to the app. So for those of you that went to the app and explored, I'm going to show you now some very specifics. And super easily. So I'm literally just opening the app. This is how easy it is to get to them. So we're going to open the app. We're going to look, and this is exactly what pedophiles do. They go through and they look and they were like, which account do I want to look at? And which one am I interested in? Like, here's a young girl. Let's go to this one, right? So here's a young girl who is dancing. Let's just go to the comments real quick. Very sexy. Oh, I love to lick the belly button. Now this is a really young girl, right? I mean, literally just opened it and that is what you first see. There's nothing but pedophiles on this and it is blatant and I report every single one of them. Let's go back into one other random one. I'm just going to randomly pick one. I'm going to pick a little girl. There are plenty of them. Let's pick this little girl here. Very young, right? Not the youngest of all of them, but young. Lots of, where are you? Lots of eggplant emojis. And we're going to talk a little bit about that because it's super important to know all of the emojis because it's not just comments. Sometimes they'll do that. Can I stare at your legs? They start off pretty benign, but they get worse and worse as you go. Let's do maybe one more and then we're going to talk about some specifics. Here's one. So little girl, right? We'll go through, most of your video is awesome. Part of my team, let me see. Some of this is in a different language because this is pretty popular around the world. But anyway, as you go through these, which I hope you did, you will see that super, super easily. You can see this stuff. So let's talk a little bit about predators and how they work on these particular apps. So predators know which apps are super easy to find their particular type, and all predators have a specific type. So they look for apps that are less monitored, that allow younger kids if that's their type, and they look for apps where if you report them, nothing really happens, and that's true in at least in Instagram and LiveMe and all of that. If I report somebody, I get a message about whether or not they decided it was okay or not. Most of the times it's okay, which is ridiculous, but at least they're responding, which makes me think that maybe it's not real people, but somehow somebody's looking. With this one, I get absolutely nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. So they look for that. They go through and they also look for the girls that are clearly not having parental involvement. So some of the kids on here will have videos where they, just like on TikTok, where they do videos with their parents, right? Those are not going to be the kids that these predators go after, right? Because they know that if their parents are in the videos, the likelihood is that their parents are looking at the comments. So they look through these kids' profiles and they say, this kid's got, I don't know, 30 videos on here. Not once is their parent on the video. So the likelihood is if they're on this app that's not monitored very tightly and their parents aren't in any of the videos, that's probably an easy target. So they go into those. They start with comments that are very, what would seem to a lot of people be benign. They would say, you're very pretty, you're a great dancer. And now, mind you, in most apps, the people that are commenting on this the predators that are commenting on this will make up fake profiles. They'll pretend to be a young girl, they'll pretend to be a young boy. In this one, because it's monitored so poorly within the app itself, they literally have their names and photos. Not to say that it's their real photo, but some of them have male names and clearly adult male photos, and that are constantly commenting on these kids that I've been reporting, and nothing happens. So this particular app, they're not hiding it, which is why I started with this particular one. So they look for that. They also look for girls who, as they go through all of the videos that they do, they look for ones that they think might be a little bit more suggestive. Now, absolutely never would I be one to victim blame. So, and especially with children. But that would be the argument that some people say when they contact me, that, well, you have these kids on here who are doing these inappropriate things. You have parents who aren't watching them. How is it the person's fault who's trying to contact them? Absolutely not. It is never, ever, 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 ever the child's fault. And just the idea that somebody would message me and say that makes me angry. So that is what's happening. Let's talk a little bit more specifically about predators in general. So they go on these websites, they look for kids who are in places where they can identify certain things. One of the things that they look for things that tell them what that particular child is interested in. For example, if the kid is in their room doing a video, they will not only look at the kid, but look around the room. Is there some ballet shoes on the dresser, which tells them that they like or do ballet? Is there a soccer ball somewhere or a trophy? Is there a specific decor in the room that tells them that they like something specific? They use that to pull the kid in. They say, hey, I really like soccer too. I play soccer. Or, my sister's a dancer. She dances ballet and she's amazing. She can do this particular move. Can you do it? And they use those particular things to gain trust of the kid and to just start a conversation. Because obviously if this little girl loves ballet and somebody starts talking about ballet to them, they're gonna start having a conversation, not realizing that it is somebody trying to trick them. They also look in the room for identifiers of what their real name is. And speaking of real name, most kids, when they do accounts like this, they will either use their real name or use something that identifies something about themselves. If they love soccer, it'll be like soccer lover 123, or it'll be Jennifer something. They very rarely make up something that is completely fake, like you and I would do when we're opening these particular apps and making a fake account. They use their real stuff because they just don't think of that. I remember on one particular app, I was talking to a girl that was being heavily enticed by some predators, and I started to DM her, and I was saying, what do you think about the people who are messaging you? And she's like, well, this guy is saying that he really likes soccer too, and it's just like it's meant to be. And I'm like, did you think about the fact that he knew you liked soccer? How would he know that? Your screen name or your account name is soccer lover, whatever the number was that she put up. The kids just don't think that. Their brains don't think that. Their brains don't work that way. I'm getting myself so worked up because this is gets me really, really angry. If you guys can still see me, please make sure you comment down there because my computer still says trying to reconnect, and I've been talking for quite a long time, and I hope I'm not talking to just myself or to nobody. So we talked about what they look for in the room, that they look for identifiers in the name and in the room. I'm looking at my notes because there's so much stuff that I want to make sure that I talk to you about. They also look for particular kids on these apps that have something that they can use to connect with them. Like, for example, if a kid has a lot of posts about being sad or lonely, they will attach to that and say, I'll be your friend. I understand what you're feeling like. I don't have any friends either. If there are girls who they know just by seeing these videos or posts or pictures feel bad about themselves for some certain way, whether it be their weight or their hair color, whatever it might be. And a lot of times the kids will actually write this in the comments or on the post. They will attach that. Oh my gosh, I love your hair. I love your outfit. You're so beautiful. If they think that that kid doesn't think they're beautiful, they will harp on the fact that they think that they're so beautiful. And that's their way of trying to gain trust. In the comments, I'm kind of all over the place because I'm so angry. I'm so angry right now. In the comments, you will often see this progression from kind of benign to more significant, and then the request, oh, come and can you DM me, or I'll DM you, or I sent you DM, can you check it? That is what happens on most apps. This particular app, again, this is what's making me so angry. They don't even waste their time doing that because nobody cares in the app. So they're just like, hey, this is my snap. Contact me here because you're amazing and I want pictures of you. I mean, it's literally that significant on this particular app. I had mentioned yesterday in my video that, I'm sorry that I'm stopping, but nobody is responding that they can see me, I don't think. Let me see. And I just want to, oh, keep going. Good job. Okay, thanks. I still see you. You guys are awesome. Brittany and Deb. Hey, Deb. I'm so happy you guys can still see me because my thing still says trying to reconnect, and you are not connected to the internet. So I was hoping I was not venting to nobody. So where was I? I'm all over the place. I'm so angry. I cannot wait. Just to pause real quick. I cannot wait to start talking to some of the people that I know that might have a little bit of pull to try and fix this stuff on this app. Because our children, the children that are on this app, are seeing and hearing and experiencing such horrible stuff. I know this is totally in the middle of everything, but please, if your kid has a smartphone, go and look at the apps right now. Make sure this one is not on there. This is an absolute no in every way, shape, and form. There are no excuses. This should not be on your kid's phone, computer, nothing. They should never see this app. They should never use this app. It is off everything because it's that bad. Okay. In the comments, let's go back to the comments. So I was talking about how the comments will sometimes start benign and then increase in severity. The other thing that these predators are super smart in doing is that they know what words will be flagged depending on the app, whether it's monitored by human beings, which isn't many of them, and even some of the ones that do have human beings, it's very few, or artificial intelligence, which is what most of them are. So they know which words are going to get flagged for either sexual misconduct or bullying, cyberbullying, anything like that. They know the words. And so they've gotten very smart and they misspell the words, but just enough so that they don't get flagged, but the kids will know. Now, they do this to the point where, because some of these girls, and I say girls, there are definitely boys on some of these apps too, but they do this to the point where these girls are so young that sometimes they don't even know what they're talking about. Like, for example, boobs or boobies will get flagged because it's sexual, right? I have seen in apps where they spell it Bubies. I saw a young girl who was about 7 lean into the computer and be like, what does that mean? Bubbies? What is that? And the guy actually put just after that, it's a different spelling of the word I want to say, but I don't want it to get flagged. He literally said that, but because artificial intelligence doesn't flag that, saying I don't want to get flagged, it still didn't get flagged, even though he said it in the response afterwards. So they use different words so that they don't get flagged. They also use lots of emojis. Now I'm going to show you a picture of an emoji right now that I actually had to get help to understand. Now, most of the stuff that our kids and predators use, kids especially, because they use a lot of emojis in their text so that the parents don't know what they're talking about. But so I go through all this stuff, and most of it I know. This particular one, I actually had to ask for help from some friends. So let me get to it, and I'm going to show you. Favorites. Okay. So here it is. Nope, that one's not it. Sorry. Here it is. So hopefully you can see this at least partially. So this one right here. Now all of these emojis, we kind of know what they mean. The bottle, unfortunately, means baby, which means he is very aware that this child on this app is a child. The watermelon, believe it or not, is sexual in that it's supposed to increase sexual desire in men. The water droplets usually means ejaculation or masturbation. The crown usually means that I'm going to treat you like a queen, that kind of stuff. The next one is the cupcake. Lots of different meanings for the cupcake, usually pertaining to children, but it also has lots of other sexual meanings. You can just look these up and the definitions will be there. And the banana, which usually pertains to the penis. And then I was not sure, and this is why I had to ask for some help, of what the letters in between mean. These particular letters in between, believe it or not, are in Russian, and they mean to F-U-C-K. So essentially between all of this, he is kind of saying, this is what I want to do to you. This particular girl on this particular thread was maybe about 7 years old, maybe. So, oh my gosh, I know I've been all over on this, but I'm just so worked up. This part is what gets me the most worked up, and this part is why I do what I do, because these girls are being taken advantage of. Tomorrow, which is day 3 of this particular week, I am going to post some media stories. Some of specifically about this app, where some girls have gotten into trouble by being lured by predators. Some I'll put just by predators and other apps, just so you can see the depth of it. This is very, very real. It is a very, very real and horrific problem. And if it kills me, I'm going to do everything I can to fix it and to get parents to understand that this is such a huge problem that we can't prevent it other than keeping our kids off these apps. Like, that is the only way that we're going to be able to keep our kids safe from these people, is to keep them off these apps. You have to monitor their phones, if you give them a phone. And please try your best to give them a phone as late as possible. I don't care if their friends have one. I don't care if they're embarrassed. There's a wonderful new phone called Gab Wireless, which looks like a smartphone, but is not a smartphone. Look it up. I am not affiliated with them whatsoever, but I think the idea is absolutely amazing. Or get them a flip phone if you really need them to have a phone for some reason, or a Gizmo Pal watch, which is what my daughter has. Kids do not need a smartphone. They do not need access to everything that the internet and social media has to offer. Once they become old enough, in my personal opinion, high school years, then yes, you have to start giving a little because this is their life, and digital and social media and all this internet, everything is that to them. And I get that. And you're going to have to pick and choose, which is why I'm doing what I'm doing. But if they're young enough, keep it away from them as long as possible, because these little girls in this particular app are being exposed to such horrificness, things that they shouldn't be seeing. They're seeing these comments, and if they don't know and they have this phone, they're probably then Googling things. And God knows what they're coming up with when they see a comment, and then they're like, oh, I don't know what that is. And then they Google it. I just got a message from somebody recently who told me that after talking to her kid, her child then admitted to her that at 6 years old, she ended up Googling penis, or wanted to learn something about penis, and somehow ended up coming across somebody in a horse. I mean, is that how you want your kid to learn about these things? You need to talk to them. You need to keep them away from this stuff. You need to monitor, not only personally yourself, if you do allow them access to the internet or give them smartphones, but you also have to have monitoring apps. No monitoring app does everything, but there are multiple that do different things. And yeah, it's hard. It's hard to figure out which monitoring app you need and what you have to watch for and which apps are okay and which are not okay. It's freaking hard. I get that. But you don't have a choice, because this could totally change your kid's life if they have access to this and are exposed to the predators that are on apps like Like. It's a horrible app. We're not going to go in detail into these accounts. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, after this, post a huge post about a call to action, which I'm hoping you guys will all jump on. And it's going to be everybody blasting over all of social media that life has to change the way that they do things and protect kids, with the caveat that parents have to do their part too, because Lord knows that I get tons of harassment saying parents have to watch their kids. And yes, I get that, which is why we're talking about it now. But these apps also have to fix things, because what's happening is not okay. So I'm going to put that call to action out. I've already talked way too much. I kicked my husband and my daughter out so that she wouldn't hear me talking about this stuff, and they're going to be home soon, so I have to get off. But keep looking at the app. Please post questions or comments about what you see. Go over to the group. It takes a village to keep kids safe, and post comments, questions, that kind of stuff over there so that everybody can get involved, because we need to talk this stuff out. We need to share experiences. We need to talk about what we're seeing, what our kids are seeing. We need to get involved. All of you guys need to get involved. There's no excuse from here on out. If you have a kid and you're watching this, that means that they either have access to social media already, or you're considering it, or they're begging you for it, or something. So you need to, there's no more excuses. You need to get involved. So go over there, like, share, post, jump on the call to action that I'm going to be posting in just a little bit. I will repost a video that I did a while back about predators and sextortion and all of that kind of stuff, because I didn't talk about sextortion today, which is a huge thing that's happening on these particular apps as well. But I'm sort of trying to streamline it with these apps, but it's just so hard because it's such a complex issue. So if you have any questions, comments, ideas, thoughts, anything specific you want me to cover or do, keep an eye out for stuff related to Like for the rest of the week, the media stories. We're going to do question and answer posts, that kind of stuff. Next week, we're going to be doing Instagram, and then Snapchat after that. So I know those are very anticipated apps that you guys have all been asking me about, and Pinterest as well. Because all of those have not only predators, but access to porn, access to self-harm and pro-suicide posts, and even some secret societies within them. disordered eating, just so much stuff. So we're going to start doing all of the bigger ones. But for this one, we're going to do a call to action. Please jump on board. I hope I wasn't too all over the place this time for you. I'm just kind of disheartened and angry and sad all at once. So I will see you guys soon. Watch for the posts. Thanks for taking part in this. And please talk to your kids. Start talking to your kids. It's never, ever, ever too early to start talking to your kids. Have a good night, guys. Bye.